Greetings from Colombia. I chose to start my presentation with the smiley face. It's a global symbol, so a global symbol that covers a global coffee community of billions of consumers and millions of coffee producers around the world. In coffee, you could arguably say that everyone smiles in the same language, a phrase I borrowed from George Carlin. And I think that the smile as a global symbol is also a source of reflection for us coffee industry members. I moved from the smiley face to the smile curve to illustrate that point. If you draw a smile curve and you put X's to the smile curve, you will see that in the modern world, in the modern economy, the value generation and value appropriation, which is in the left-hand side axis, shows that there is more appropriation of value in these two extremes of the smile curve. The innovation, know-how, angle of the stage of production, and the branding and distribution of that stage of production. Whereas the act of production itself tends to be not such a big value generator of value appropriator. And this is why many companies in the modern world outsource production to third parties, whereas keeping the intangibles associated with their brands, associated with their patents, know-how, whatever, close to their chest. So this is how the current world currently works. So we would like to draw what the coffee industry smile curve looks like, and this is my version of the coffee industry smile curve. You will notice that we smile a little bit to the right, meaning that there is more value in the distribution and branding in the coffee industry in general, and there is more and there is some value, of course, in innovation but coffee in general is still an orphan in terms of research and development, in my mind. There are, of course, examples of new espresso machines, new preparation techniques. There are, of course, new varieties being liberated. There is some significant research in the area of fermentation and quality and so on. But we're still a lot lagging behind industries like wine. If you look at the research in wine, there is a much closer and better knowledge about the relationship between grapes and sugar content and origin and temperatures and thermal amplitude in different seasons, which leads to a more profound knowledge of the product and of course a more reliable knowledge that justify to consumers why to pay more for a particular product. Of course, in the middle of the smile curve are the producers, and producers are not really enjoying a lot. I mean, they are subject to commodity price cycles. They cannot really move or get a significant economic upgrade, and we have tried to do that. Let's it's not that this has been static for long. Some producers have tried to roast their own coffees, and there are some positive examples there. Some producers have tried to produce with different varieties and with different heirlooms, and others have tried to do different post-harvesting techniques and so on and so forth. And that's fine. That's perfect. But still, this doesn't reach lots of producers. The vast majority of coffee producers around the world have not been able to obtain significant economic upgrade for these initiatives. And another example are sustainability seals, but The premiums of sustainability seals vary quite a bit depending on supply and demand of a given seal at a given time, and overall there is more sustainability certified coffee in supply than in demand. So if this hasn't really worked to get impact or significant impact, what can we do? So I call for that the coffee industry should hire an orthodontist, someone that can help us think about how we can redesign our smile. And if we did that, I would say that we need to ask this particular doctor, this smile redesigner, that we have to ask him to do at least 3 things with our new smile. Number 1, we need farmers to occupy a wider space under the smile curve. Not limited to production, but they have to get value from innovation, they have to get value from knowledge, and they have to get value, intangible value as well, from the branding and distribution, and I will come to that later. This does not really necessarily imply that they have to roast their own coffee, so, of course. Secondly, this new value, this new smile curve for the coffee industry does not need that imply that whatever value producers get is at the expense of someone else. On the contrary, I think that we should unlock the value of the coffee industry and create more value, making that curve to be steeper. And thirdly, whatever we do has to have impact. So it has to reach thousands, hundreds of thousands, hopefully millions of producers. And I think that the big instrument that we could do, or we could use to do that, is origin. Because we're already using origin very strongly in the coffee industry narrative. I want to show you this graph. This graph was provided to me by Jan Anderson from Premium Quality Coffee. And Jan did a survey of 60 brands in the US and classified them under second wave, third wave, or tidal wave brands, and looked at those brand portfolios of these 60 brands and found that, number 1, single origin brands are important, overall important in all 3 segments. And secondly, as the segments are pricier, the price point is higher, the more importance single origin brands acquire. So we have certainly a narrative that is associated with origin that is helping brands and showing the expertise. And it's, of course, in the new requirements of coffee consumers, things like transparency, quality, and knowledge are much easier to communicate or more efficiently communicated through single origin brands than through blends. So the industry is using single origins already. The question is, are we unlocking the value of single origins, or no, or can we do a much better job at that? And I think we have to do that. And let me give you an example of how this can evolve over time. I was recently introduced by Dave Griswold to Fatima Ismail. She runs a cooperative in Nicaragua, in Jinotega, and she has the name of the co-op is Sopexca, and she has been working with for over 20 years marketing a coffee that is called a single origin coffee that is called Las Hermanas. And there are 2 brands that have been marketing this coffee for almost 20 years, and I reached out to not only to Fatima but the 2 brands. The 2 brands are Cafe Moto and Pete's. So in talking to them, I learned that this relationship has significantly evolved from just a procurement, high quality, fulfilling the specs, on-time arrival, so on, to co-branding, meaning taking the information, the content, understanding the origin profoundly, so it can be marketed in a more more efficiently, so the narratives of origin becomes relevant and consistent with the narratives of the brand. In fact, Tori Lee from Cafe Model mentioned that these type of origins have helped them redefine their own brand values, which is very powerful because they are sort of living up to what they say profoundly, going back to origin. And Doug Welsh from Pete's, on the other hand, also mentioned in our conversation that these type of exercises or initiatives, which have been again going on from almost 20 years, have also helped them redefine what quality means for the Pete's brand. And this is very important because, as you know, Pete's is a brand that has a significant quality heritage, and redefining quality for a brand such as Pete's is a very powerful statement. So this example helps us, if we were to use this example and many other examples that we could illustrate today, this will mean that we need to rethink a little bit how we correspond, or how we can unlock the value of origin for all involved. So I think I have a few suggestions here. Number one, we should stop playing this Indiana Jones type of marketing effort where the coffee buyer goes to exotic places and finds these coffee jewels, these unique coffees, and bring them to market. And the hero portrayed by the brand is the coffee buyer, and not the coffee community, and not the coffee farmer. So the public, the consumers, rely on the coffee buyer for going out to different places and different avenues, but we don't get engaged with the origin the way we should. So we think that going forward, we need the marketing people, the communications people, to get engaged with the origins that the brand is selling, and communicate the storytelling of origins in a different way. So the way to do that, I think, is to thinking in terms of brand audits. Brand audits are usually made by surveying your consumers to understand what your consumers think about your brand, and understanding where your brand gives them value or not, and so on and so forth. I think that that's of course an important tool, but at the same time, I think that you should do backward brand audits, meaning understanding whether what you are buying is consistent with your brand values, and you will, or many brands will probably find that this is there is something to fix there. The values of your brand, whatever you're saying to your consumers in terms of authenticity, transparency, any other attributes that you feel are close to your brand, should be reflected along your value chain and along the origins that you sell. Also, I think that origins have to do their part. Origins are not should not wait for someone to help them. They should start by defining their mission, their higher purpose. They should do their own sustainability analysis, define what their sustainability priorities are, and not wait for someone to tell them what their sustainability priorities are. They should provide content, help differentiate their coffees, help their customers, meaning brands, to differentiate their coffees. Origins should also protect their own origin, develop minimum quality standards, create the possibility of developing long-term relationships that are loyal. If they expect loyalty from a brand, they should be loyal to the brand as well in different price cycles. And also, they should focus on knowing their own product, understanding this relationship between quality and origin, so that consumers can rationalize and understand why they're paying more for those coffees. So hopefully together, probably with the leadership of SCA and other actors, we can jointly think about the different steps that are needed to modify the coffee industry's smile curve. These are a few ideas that can be complemented by other initiatives, but I think that they should rely basically on intangibles that can be appropriated and used by coffee farmers around the world. So coffee farmers should not limit themselves to produce high quality coffee. Quality is a condition to compete, but is not necessarily a condition to be competitive. So you have to develop loyalty through intangibles as well. So in closing, I want to share this saying by this Chinese proverb that says that you can use your smile to change the world. I think that in coffee we can use our joint smile to change the world, and don't let the world change our own smile. Thank you.